extremely simple, and it's us that make stuff complex. How simple it is to control humans, and also how simple it is for us to reverse the warfare that we're up against. Everything in life is highly simple, and the way that the universe was created, the way that God created everything, He created everything out of simplicity. Truly, everything is simple. And to control humans or to control anything is oftentimes very simple, and it's not as complex as we think that it is. There is absolutely no difference between the body and the mind. A body is actually what a mind is. They cannot exist without each other. The subconscious mind is literally your body itself. If you want to know what a mind is, take a good look at your body. That's what a mind is. So when you hear the word mind control, it literally means body control. The main form of mind control being practiced on planet Earth is what is known as subconscious mind control. Who we truly are, we're ignorant of. We think we're our personalities. We think we're our egos. We think we're our minds. The only thing that you are, your energy, the energy that powers the body. You're the energy that gives life to the body. And that's pretty much all you are. We're actually energy. We're actually the one energy, the one source, the one divine energy source that is behind all of existence. They use our bodies as a means for them to exist physically in this world. The very nature of our environment, the way that nature is constructed, it does not present a suitable environment for these aliens. They cannot exist in the natural world. After they take humans out of this natural world, they begin to change humans into something unnatural. They begin to change the very nature of who we are. In human beings' natural state, the body is operating on higher levels of frequencies, higher levels of energy. Our bodies has been made very, very dense, extra dense. And because of this, we have presented a suitable environment for them to exist in us. But the way that our bodies are originally designed, the frequency is powered by light. The frequency is powered by pure, natural, divine energy. For an alien to exist in a body like that, it will be utter hell. It will be absolute hell for them. It will give the sensation of them being in fire. That's how the frequencies of a light body affects them. In order for them to make our bodies suitable, they have to change the dynamics of the body. They have to change the nervous system. They have to change the organs. They have to change everything so that the energy that's powering the body will be bearable for them. They're literally trying their best to remove as much life out of our bodies as possible, to remove as much essence, as much light as possible from our bodies. Yes, we have bodies. Yes, we have minds. But this is only a small aspect of who we truly are. Our mind is a body. And what we truly are, we're the energy field that is giving the body or mind life. They are trying to remove as much life from the body as possible, which means they're trying to get you out the picture. They're trying to kick your ass out your own house. They attack every single organ, everything that has to do with life in your body. They are attacking it so that the body will become less and less alive to the point you're basically a zombie. Every single organ is targeted, but the number one priority where everything starts is at the brain. Life is truly subconscious, and behind the scenes a lot of things are going on. One is this: whether we know it or not, The human body is looking at the world completely different from the way that we see the world. There is always two visions going on. There is the conscious vision, everything that we're conscious of, you know, what we're looking at, what we perceive. And there's also the subconscious vision. And this is the vision that the body does, the way that the body sees the world. The eyes create the ego. The ego was actually created out of survival. The human body is incapable of separating things when it looks at things. The human body is incapable of identifying things. It's incapable of seeing phenomena, and you can really say that the way when the human body looks at the world, it literally sees nothing. Nothing is happening. And the ego was created out of a need because of the way that the human body sees the world. It needed a mechanism through which it could differentiate what it's looking at. It needed a mechanism through which it could objectify things and identify things. Every single belief that you have, every single opinion, every single idea, every single thing that you like or dislike, every single thing that you know is all a product of your perception. Your ego is literally the tool used to create all these things that make up our reality. The human body is incapable of breaking down things. It can only see life as it is. It can only see the whole picture. It cannot distinguish anything from anything. It only sees one energy. We are dealing with a vessel. The human body is blind, ladies and gentlemen. It literally cannot see reality the way that we see it. Life is truly subconscious. And despite everything that you have come to believe about life, about all your opinions, all your beliefs, all your actions, your body is really what's doing everything. Your body is moving by itself. It is acting on its own. Your body is the actual thing that's talking to people. Your body is what's doing everything, and this will go on despite what you believe to be true. The ego is considered the conscious mind, and this represents less than 1% of what the mind truly is. The ego is truly powered by illusion. The ego has the tendency to have people believe that they are it. The ego has the tendency to have people believe they are their personalities, they are the body, they are their beliefs, their opinions. You are truly the energy that powers the body. You are life itself. You are energy. You are consciousness. And you are simply what's giving the body life. However the body chooses to use you, however the body chooses to use energy is up to the body, and you're simply here to observe. The ego is having you believe that it's doing all these things. The human body literally exists in the absolute reality. The human body can only experience the supreme one reality. It cannot exist in falsehood. It cannot exist in illusions. The human body can only exist in truth. And literally, the human body is always anchored in the subconscious realm. It's always anchored in energy. The human body can only know all that exists. It cannot break down the all. It can only experience the all as the all. The human body is always anchored in this reality. It is always anchored in the subconscious realm, or we can just call it the absolute reality, and let's just call that God. Okay? The human body experiences nature, energy, God directly. The ego takes the bigger picture, breaks it down, into a form. In reality, nothing is separate. Everything is everything. Everything is always God. But the ego is able to dissect God and create illusions, to create forms. The ego is literally used to objectify things, is used to distinguish consciousness. Because of the tendency of the ego to take all that exists and make it into a form perceivable by our five senses, it has, by its very nature, the ego is incapable of seeing the bigger picture. The ego is incapable of experiencing all that exists. The ego is incapable of experiencing nature. It's incapable of experiencing God directly. The ego can never, ever, ever be in the now. The now is the realm, the reality the human body is always anchored in. No matter what you believe, no matter what you think, the human body will always operate from the now. And when you speak of the now, you're literally speaking about all that literally exists. And within every given moment, the ego will take the now, okay? And that's whatever's going on in the moment. This process could take 1/1000th, 1/10,000th of a second. That's how fast the mind works. That's how fast the ego works. The ego will take the now, and within 1/10,000th of a second, the ego will be able to break down the now and give it meaning. Tell you what's going on, tell you what you're witnessing, tell you what you're experiencing. By time you give meaning to what you're looking at, by time you actually see what you're looking at, by time the ego actually objectifies what you're looking at, you are no longer in the now. You are about 1/10,000th late. You're about 1/10,000th in the past. And this is the big dilemma, guys. At all times, the human body is always operating from the now. And the ego will then filter this information and call it what it wants, give meaning to what it wants. And this is the big dilemma. The body might be moving on its own accord. The body might be talking to these people on its own accord. But the ego will give the illusion, okay, that it's the one doing it. But if you're in the now, if you exist in the now, you will really realize that in reality, nothing is actually happening, and everything is being orchestrated by one mind. Everything is being orchestrated by one energy source. And the ego cannot do anything. The ego has no say, it has no control. But if you're not existing in the now, you will never know this fact. And the ego will have you stuck in the past. And ladies and gentlemen, that is literally what's going on planet Earth. Everybody is living in the past. Everybody is living in the world that the ego is creating. The logical, meaningful world the ego is creating, instead of living in the now, instead of living in the absolute reality, people are living in the past, and they are now living in perception. They are believing their perceptions. In reality, the conscious mind is truly one big illusion. It only represents less than 1% of the whole mind. And the only truth is the now. The body also is able to view the world and to take in its own type of information that it can use for life. Everything that the body does is always based on how connected the body is to source, how connected the body is to life, how connected the body is to you. And ladies and gentlemen, let's purify some ignorance once more. We are not the bodies. Ladies and gentlemen, we are energy. the one energy that powers life, the one energy, the one mind, the one song, the one universe. Ladies and gentlemen, we are energy. Your body knows the truth. Your body knows that it is being sourced by life. Your body knows that it's being sourced by consciousness. And let's not forget, we are the ones that are truly giving the body life. We are the source of the life of the body. We are the consciousness, the energy of life. The human body is naturally designed to seek as much of life it can possibly find. It is trying its number one best to be as close to the source as possible. It's trying its number one best to be as connected to nature as possible, because the body truly understands that the closer it is to nature, the closer it will be to us, the energy that's giving it life. Everything that has to do with your body is always based on your level of consciousness. The closer you are to source, the closer you are to nature, the more life will be in your body. The further you are from source, the further you are from nature, the less life is going to be in your body. You will find that it will subconsciously choose things that gives it life. It will subconsciously do things that makes it grow. It will do things that gives it life. But if your body is not connected to nature, if it's not connected to source, your body will be dumb. It will do things that will be destructive to it. The human body literally gets energy from the environment. Anything that's natural, trees, the wind, water, all these things give the human body energy. It expands the level of consciousness. And this is no secret, ladies and gentlemen. The sun is literally the closest any living thing can get to the source. It's one of the most easiest accessible energy sources that any living being can use to amplify, to expand the consciousness within their bodies. All they want is to keep us in darkness. In order to ensure that humans stay in darkness, we must be tampered with. The human body must be forcibly changed. The human body knows the truth. It naturally seeks energy. It naturally seeks consciousness. It naturally seeks anything that will give it life. One of the first organs that are targeted is our hair. Hair can be seen as a form of natural mind control. Hair is an actual living tissue. It's an actual living organ. And hair is light sensitive. The fact that we have hair will make us act and behave differently. We need to understand that this is our friends, ladies and gentlemen. This is not our enemy. Hair is playing an active role in our lives. And whether we know it or not, the more natural, the more healthy our hair is, and that's very rare in this society. It's very rare to find somebody that actually has healthy hair. It actually influences you subconsciously to seek the light, to do things that gives you life. Subconsciously, hair will influence the individual. If you're a living thing, if you're attached to a host, you will be involved in that host's life. Hair is involved in our lives, guys, and it cares about us, it loves us, and it wants nothing but the best for the body. It's like our partners. But once we cut hair off, we immediately stop ourselves from receiving natural guidance. They have to damage the hair because hair can be seen as a natural antenna. It can be seen as natural mind control, you know, because hair is actually on our side. Our intestines is constantly communicating with our brains, and what's going on inside our guts literally determines a lot of the things that we end up doing, a lot of the things that we end up partaking in. And one of the ways that they use the gut, the intestines, to control us, they make us eat foods, unnatural foods, that specifically make the body uncomfortable in sunlight. Yes, junk food tastes good, ladies and gentlemen, but the main reason why junk food and all these unnatural foods is being pushed is because once they enter the body, they will begin to change the body in such a way that the body can no longer tolerate the sun. Anybody that's obese, anybody that has been eating unnatural foods for a long period of time, you will find that these people cannot tolerate nature. They can't tolerate the cold, and they cannot tolerate the heat. They have to always seek shelter because their bodies are no longer able to connect with the source. Their bodies are no longer able to connect with nature. The food has changed them eternally. They are targeting our pineal glands. The pineal gland, the main function is to connect with the environment. The pineal gland is the navigational tool of the body to connect directly with everything that's going on in the environment. For most human beings, the pineal gland begins to shrink, and it begins to lose its ability to connect with the environment. And when you hear the pineal gland, what we're really referring to is light. That's going to be the focus from here on out. Our bodies are naturally designed to be as close to nature as it possibly can. Your body, all it wants to do is to live in unison with nature. Our eyes are connected to our entire brain. This is information I don't think science have revealed to the world yet, but the optic nerve is not just one nerve. It's many different nerves that travel all across the brain from different portions of the brain, and they all intersect into one bundle of nerves that we call the optic nerves, and all this leads to our eyes. Different areas of our brain need sunlight to function properly, to be healthy, and to be in unison with nature. Every single day, there are messages encoded in sunlight. The sun is basically feeding messages to the earth. They do not want us to get the necessary information our bodies use to make the necessary changes in our physiology, the necessary changes in our programs, in our habits, and so forth. And in a way, they are making us dumb. They are making the human body incapable of knowing what's going on in nature. And because of this, the body is just forced to remain the same. The importance of this information we receive from sunlight cannot be stressed enough. I'm going to use this picture to really illustrate how vital the information is that we receive from sunlight. We're looking at chloroplasts. These are plant cells that respond to sunlight. A healthy cell, as you can see, all of these cells are moving in unison. Most humans on the planet, because they're living unnatural lifestyles, because they unknowingly are lacking the biofeedback necessary to maintain a healthy functionality of their bodies, this is what happens to most human beings. This is the same cells that are from chloroplasts, and as you can see, the same uniform pattern that extended all across the cell, there has been drastic changes. What we're looking at here is chloroplasts under a light source lacking ultraviolet light. That means this cell is no longer receiving the full spectrum of sunlight, and they're no longer doing what they're supposed to do, of what happens microscopically when our cells or any cell from a living being lacks the proper biofeedback. They lack the proper information. These cells can no longer function properly, and as you can see, it's total chaos compared to here where everything is in unison. What we see with our eyes is literally a small portion of the energy we're receiving from sunlight. Less than 1% of all of the frequencies and all of the energies that we receive from the sun. Everything that we can see with our eyes only represent less than 1% of what's actually here now on planet Earth, what's actually powering up this reality. There is a lot more in sunlight that science is yet to tell the public, that we are yet to realize. They are not targeting the visible aspect of sunlight. They are not targeting the light itself. They are targeting the frequencies and the energies that we cannot perceive. They use a filter that filters out everything and only leaves us with the less than 1% that makes up the illusionary world of the ego. They filter out everything and only leave us with the visible spectrum, and that's everything that we can see with our eyes. There are different forms of light within sunlight, and some forms of light they have different properties than other forms. There are forms of light that can only travel through air particles. Most of the rays that make up the 99% of our reality that we can't see, most of these rays are literally like this. They literally cannot penetrate solids. They literally cannot penetrate liquids. The most commonly used filter that they're using to do this is glass. The invisible part of sunlight is really what is truly powering all of life, and the visible part is just a small portion of it. There is invisible light at dark time. Even though the sun is not in the sky, there is still a form of sunlight in the atmosphere still. We don't realize what true sunlight is. True sunlight is frequencies, both the visible and the invisible. Diseases such as cancer and all of these crazy diseases that are plaguing humanity is all a result of the body not getting the necessary invisible rays of the sun that it can use to finally get rid of all this crap. Most of the people that are suffering from cancer, these are the same people that are not getting the full spectrum of light. Ultraviolet light and the other invisible light spectrums, the other invisible light frequencies, we need to realize that our bodies use these frequencies to maintain health. And this has already been established by science. But some of the functions of these invisible rays, your body literally uses these rays to create sex hormones and to naturally give the body everything it needs to procreate efficiently. These invisible rays are used to produce vitamin D in the body. Without these rays, specifically ultraviolet, your body cannot produce vitamin D. The benefits can go on and on. These invisible rays are used to lower blood pressure. These invisible rays, when they hit our skin, they're actually able to make our blood more intelligent so that our blood will flow to the places that need it the most. It's literally the key to health. A lot of people that lack melanin, they get sunburn when they're exposed to the light for a long period of time. They are not getting sunburn from the visible spectrum of sunlight. Instead, they are getting sunburn from the invisible part of sunlight. Did you know it's impossible to get sunburn through a glass? As long as you have glass over you, you can never get sunburn? That would just show you how much glass is filtering out of sunlight, how much sunlight glass is filtering from us. Our brains are using our eyes to connect with the sun. The eyes is literally one of the most important organs when it comes to connecting with the universe. And right now on planet Earth, we have people that are wearing glasses their whole lives, wearing contacts their whole lives. Even if you don't physically have filters over your eyes, you're being filtered from the sun whether you know it or not. And just take a simple observation of everybody's lives, you'll realize that, damn, literally everywhere you go, there's a filtration process going on, and it's very hard to actually get natural sunlight. And it's literally got to the point where people are no longer in sunlight. Even though we can see all these images and see all these things, when you really break down somebody's life and really investigate how much light they get, you'll realize that it's close to zero. The way our skin utilizes the sun energy is way beyond what science is really ready to tell the public. There are people right now on this earth that have feet that has never seen sunlight for years because their feet has been clogged up in shoes since they can remember. There are men on this earth that since they was born, their actual sexual organs have never ever seen sunlight before. Do you know that there's actual people like that? They use any type of substance, any type of solid that can stop the invisible rays from making contact with our bodies. Just like glass is a filter, we gotta realize that they're even doing it in our skies, guys. They even have to spray chemtrails and to produce all types of filters in the sky just to make sure that some of the invisible rays, some of the invisible frequencies cannot make contact with us. Different portions of our brain uses our eyes to receive the energy it needs from our environment to function. Due to human beings unconsciously not giving their bodies the necessary energy they need to function, you guessed it, our brains are no longer working properly. Everything that has to do with our bodies is powered by light. The units to measure light, they call it lux. Lux is a unit of luminance. Because we're no longer giving our brain the necessary food it needs, it can't function properly. A lot of people spend their days indoors. Now guys, let's focus on how much light we're really getting from indoor lighting that you can find in indoors. As you can see how low the light level is, 50 lux, 80 lux. On a normal sunny day, this is how much lux is in the atmosphere. 10,000 to 25,000. In direct sunlight, it gets as high to 100,000 lux. Now, compare this last column, direct sunlight. This is probably somebody sun gazing. This would probably be like 200,000 lux or even more. Now compare somebody sun gazing, how much energy they're getting, to somebody that chooses to stay indoors their whole day. Do you see how big of a difference it is from artificial lights and natural light? These lights are operating on dead frequencies. Now, sunlight is actual living light, guys. There's actual living particles within sunlight that our bodies can use for all of the biological functions within it. Artificial lights, on the other hand, these sources of light uses dead frequencies. They are using frequencies of light that do not have light whatsoever. They're keeping their body in a dead zone, a dead frequency. Anything that you expose yourself to, you attune with. When you're indoors, you give your body the illusion it's trapped in a dead zone. Light that doesn't move, light that's not alive. The sun is behind a lot of the biological functions that go on in our bodies. There are a lot of biorhythms, a lot of cycles within our bodies that make use of sunlight. When we're in artificial lights, we give our bodies no type of information it can use to know what time it is in the universe. When we're under artificial lights, we give our bodies no information to even know what's going on in the environment, to even know what's going on in the universe. And it gives off the illusion of the body being in a void of death, a void of no time, a void of no activity, a void of no movement. And all these things throw off the biorhythms within our bodies. Our bodies are incapable of knowing what time it is. And if people have indoor lifestyles, a lifestyle of constantly being in indoor lighting, they are giving their bodies no type of stimulus, no type of light codes it can use to merge with the environment. A lifestyle of living indoors all the time gives the body the illusion that it is dark and cloudy every single day. Imagine how much of an effect it's going to have on whoever's brain. There are literally millions of people living that kind of lifestyle now on the planet. They go their whole lives indoors. A consequence of this behavior, a consequence of this lifestyle, their brains are dead. They can no longer use their brain properly. And whether we know it or not, functions such as creativity, being able to be in a good mood, being able to be enthusiastic, optimistic, being able to see the brighter side of life, a lot of these things are dependent on light. If you do not give your body enough light, your mood will be affected, guys. And it's about time that human beings start to see themselves as solar beings. We're literally just like plants. The same way if you keep a plant outside of sunlight, it's going to die. It's the same exact way if you keep us out of sunlight, we will be affected drastically. If you want to stop humans from being creative, because whether we know it or not, creativity is powered by light. If you want to lessen the probability of them thinking outside the box, if you want to make sure that they are always under stress, always gloomy, always moody, keep them out of sunlight. Living indoors does not give the body the food it needs to power our creativity, to power our inspiration, to power good vibes, to power a good mood. And it's a mockery for human beings to go a whole day, a whole sunny day indoors while they can be giving their body the food that it needs. Once you start to give your body the proper supply of energy, you will notice that you will start to do things differently. You will start to form new habits. Your body will start to do things in a totally different way. Our bodies are literally microcosms of the macrocosm. And one of the things that the universe does, it moves in cycles. Our bodies is no different. Your level of consciousness determines the cycles your body is literally locked in. Once your body gets a constant supply of energy, or once your body gets balanced within the wavelength, it will tend to stay within that wavelength its whole life until something drastically forces a change within your programs. The way that the human body anchors us within these consciousness levels, they use habits. It's hard to change is because everything is subconscious and your body is literally locked into a wavelength. If you want to break any type of wavelength, one of the easiest ways of breaking out of a cycle is to give your body more energy. And that's all you really have to do. We are all in this together. I'm here for you, you're here for me. In this solar system, the closest you can get to the source of all energy is the sun. You literally are the sun. And your body knows this, and all it wants to do is reconnect with who you are, which is the sun. Your body knows all it needs to do is to get guidance from the sun. It does not matter your age, it does not matter your race in school, whether you got a job that you go to, whether